and welcome to the 7th episode of Ride of Your Life. And we have our first male podcaster, not it, definitely not it. So we have with us today someone I've been following for quite a while now, the British Motorbiker, and we have Conor.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm super excited to have you on because I love all of the content you put out. And I've said this to you, I've been hounding the poor guy for a little while, like, hey, we should meet up. And, you know, when you follow someone and you learn more about their story, it's been great because I've seen you doing a bit of tweaking to your bikes.
Yep.
And, you know, I'd love it if you could tell people a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, crikey, where to start? So 29. I've been riding since September 2017. Which is when I got my CVT over in Wimbledon.
It's not that long then.
Not that long.
No, it seems like you've been like a proper... Yeah, it seems like you've been riding forever, to be honest.
No, it's been an intense couple of years. But I'm only on my second bike. So the first bike was a mutt mongrel, which I had for 2 years. And just literally, I buried that thing into the ground. I rode it hard. For a 125, I put that thing through its paces. Mainly to get down to work. That's why I bought the thing in the first place. And then went onto my modern bike, which is the 62.
And they're stunning. So you've got quite a style of bike, haven't you?
Yeah.
You like.
It's the kind of like that retro. The mutt mongrel was very much. It looks like something from the Steve McQueen.
Oh right,
days.
Classic
the
days.
Classic look.
Yeah.
You know, the tank, the brown bench seat, and then went onto the Scrambler. And yeah, I just wanted to make it my own. I think that's one thing about me is stock bikes. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, the manufacturers know how to make a bike. But I just want to add that flair to it. I want to add that little bit, which is mine, that personal touch. And I've done exactly that with the 62, and then other bikes which I've built. So starting off small, one little modification here and there.
And then suddenly you've got like a whole spiel of bike and content, and it's just because that's what drew me to your page was A, it was very clean. B, you do your own photography. You and your partner do your own photography.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool because I had to message you and be like, do you do your own photography? And he was like, no, I have a partner. She helps me. So that was quite an interesting outlook because I know that even myself, when getting into this, not a lot of people are as blessed as me to have found someone who does photography, videography, and they want to learn how to get into working with, because you collab quite a bit as well, which is amazing. You're making a good name for yourself and a business out of it. And it was just, that journey was quite interesting to me because a lot of people think it relies on the numbers, how big a number you are to work with brands. And we are, as a company, myself and my business partner, we commit to quality. And we always say the better quality you put out is the best thing you can do. And I think that speaks a lot with the work that you do. So what got you into biking? What got you into shooting your own content? And how is that journey for you?
Okay, so it's not a sob story. At least I don't want it to be a sob story. So
you've prepared us
now.
now.
I know. So a lot of people know about this because I've mentioned it here and there, but I don't dwell on it.
Now it's on a podcast and maybe on YouTube.
Here we go. So I was a fit and healthy young boy, and then one day literally woke up with a problem in my legs called a neuropathy, which is the nerve endings in my legs just stopped working.
Ooh.
They became inflamed and just pretty much stopped working. I was in chronic pain, constant pain, couldn't walk properly. My life just changed overnight. And
how old was that when that
I was
happened?
about 12.
Oh, wow.
So I used to be a sprinter, used to be a rugby player, represent my college, all of that, and just that went out the window overnight. So young age, quite long, quite a hard thing to deal with. But if anything, it's made me who I am today. So that's why I'm positive about it. Maybe I've got a smile on my face, which is odd. But no, so I did that and progressed through. And when I was 18, I had surgery and had multiple reconstructive surgeries to my legs. And I thought, okay, I need to learn to drive. I need to stop being so dependent on other people. I'm my own man now. I need to do it. And I couldn't drive because of the damage left and because of all the surgeries I'd had. I couldn't do the clutch in a car. And then I tried automatic, and again, I couldn't do the pedals properly because of the leg condition.
Right.
So I was like, well, what's that leave me with? And literally, my girlfriend said to me, why don't you try biking?
Oh.
I was like, right, okay, my mum will kill me if she ever finds it. I grew up, a bike would go past you in the car, and my mum would just scream and say, if you ever get on one of those,
fast.
You're not allowed. I'll disown you if you ever get on one of those or anything. And I did it. My brother and I went and did a CBT. I'd always liked bikes. I just never, because of, you know, the way my mum brought me up, my dad brought me up, they were never on my radar as something I could actually
accessibility.
pursue. Exactly. I always think of certain scenes, you'll probably know them. There's the Tron Legacy scene with the Ducati Sport Classic and the music over it. There's all the Mission Impossibles. There's the Steve McQueen film. You know, bikes are just awesome. Yeah. Let's just face it. Bikes
but they're very rebellious, aren't they?
They are.
And that's what people like. It's very faux pas.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you know, rebellion, especially if you've had a condition. And God, I can imagine what your mum must have been thinking.
Oh, no, literally, because I'm the youngest of 3 children, so I probably have just picked up that rebellious card now. That is me. I'm just the runt of the litter who always has to say no to things and go off and do his own thing.
The youngest child isn't it? I'm the youngest, and I've done the same.
That's it. I think my parents do look at me and think, what have we got? You know, a right one here. But so I got on the bike, didn't even know if I could ride the bike, and lo and behold, normally, you know, you just knock it up with your foot, but I have to kind of lift my leg to do it. So if you actually look at me, it's a bit of a weird motion, the way I change gear, but I can do it. And all of a sudden I was like, this is something I can do. This is amazing. I was, so when was it? 2017. So I'm 29 now, so you can do the maths.
I can't do the maths. I'm sat there like, hold on, count back, fingers out.
So yeah, and I used to work down in Horsham. And I was living in Battersea at the time, and it was about a 40-mile trip down there. Getting a train was a nightmare. I thought I need just to do this myself. So I went literally the day after to the CBT, put a deposit down the MUP, picked it up, and started just riding this thing from Battersea. At
25. I did the maths now.
There we go.
Please comment if I've done it wrong. I probably have as well.
So going down, no experience of roads before. Next thing you know, I'm doing the A3 and the A24 and dual carriageways. And I think it was because I was thrown into that deep end that it just changed me.
You just had to do it, yeah.
And it just became this hobby and this passion.
I knew none of this.
Really? Okay.
I saw the quality of your work, and I think because I followed you for about a year now. Saw the quality of your work, and I saw your collaborations, and you seem so confident and so well put together and elite almost in a non-horrible way, but very like elitist. Because when I showed your work to my business partner, he was like, he's very like British quality, like that fine British quality. And that's how I pictured you, to be very put together, very confident. Because I even found when I first had a conversation with you, my accent went so posh. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how this is happening. But it's quite humbling and interesting to hear of the story that got you into biking. I think that's what this whole podcast, everything's about, because people's stories getting into this world and seeing how they come across is just magnificent. So what got you into doing the whole photography side? Because you've gone, like, considering you've only been doing it for quite a short period of time, you've really gone for it, and you've really made a name for yourself. You're quite recognizable for your style and your quality, and you're very recognizable in the Scrambler classic Triumph kind of vibe. So what headed you that way? Which
is amazing to even be sort of in that. So, you know, it's awesome how far it's come. But mainly just because I was bored. You know, they're all of us. They're trying.
We've got a schedule. We're sat there like, oh my god, our content. You're like, just gonna go take a few shots.
This is how it started. I'd be at work and I'd hear a car or a bike go by, and I'd just be like, oh, I wish I was out there. I wish I was in their shoes. You know, I hate being behind a desk. Why I do sales and partnerships for a living, I have no idea.
I didn't even know that.
That's why I don't need more. They're made redundant over the pandemic, and now I'm trying to make this my career. But no, I'd be behind a desk doing cold calls, you know, all that stuff. And I'll just be, I wish I was outside right now. I wish I was doing something else. So whenever I got the chance at the end of the day, I'd normally jump on the bike. And I didn't do it with the MUT. I didn't really take many photos of it. I do have photos, but nothing I put out there on social media. With the Ducati, I was just like, I love that bike. It's stunning.
Yeah, it is so stunning.
And it took me a while to start making the mods. So it was just a standard 62. And Julia would jump on the back, because I had the full license, and we would just go for a ride. And then we were like, oh, should we just take a few shots here and there? And you can go back for the feed and see how it started. And I had no idea what I was doing.
I am that girl. So I actually have gone through your feed, and you've always maintained quite a good quality.
Oh, okay.
Because if you go back through my feed, now people are going to do it. Honestly, there's pictures of me in Vegas where I'm just stood there smiling awkwardly at the camera.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Oh my God, kill me. But I like having them there to show, because I even went through a phase of I had to have 3 shots every time, 3 shots on my feed. And over the past few years, it's definitely evolved. But you know, when you see your quality of work, it almost seemed to me that you had experience in photography and videography as a pro.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. But no, I mean, Julie's going to love that. So Julie's my partner.
I know. I was like, oh, so she needs all the credit. Because when I called you and I was like, so, you know, how does that work? I actually had the image of you propping a stand down with the camera and tying in. I was like, he's got so much organization and he knows what he's doing. But it is such a nice way to see a dynamic work as well, that you can enjoy life with your partner on a bike, and also from where you've come from. That's just such a I don't know, it's really, really lovely to hear.
It is. I mean, those people that do the whole setting up time, I have huge respect for them, because I can only imagine how hard it is to actually do that. But no, we'll just jump on the bike, go for a ride. This looks like a nice little spot. Should we stop for a coffee or something and get the camera out, and then just take a few shots and off I go.
It's very organic though, isn't it? Because I've looked at your stuff and I've seen that you promote gear, you promote what you would, because I know I do fashion where my legs are out every now and then, and I'm like, this is not how I ride. But I love how, because that actually inspired me to do more with my gear and gear focus. Like, actually, this looks really nice and it's very organic. It's much easier than carrying a backpack of clothes and changing into your heels.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we went out the other day to shoot, and I had my bike boots on, and he was like, do you want to get into your other shoes? I was like, nah, I'm fine. It was hard enough to get here. Like, let's just leave it as this. But that was all inspiration that's actually come from your page, because we've looked at your page a lot for like inspiration, countryside, scenery.
Indeed.
Because you do a lot of traveling with the bike that I've seen.
Yes, we tried to do a few little trips here and there. The first one we did was to the Cotswolds for a weekend away, and that's the first time I had panniers on the bike, you know, proper long distance. We didn't take the motorway, we did all the back roads, so
what beautiful.
It was lovely, and it was December. No appropriate motorcycle gear. I had no idea what we were doing, and that's kind of it. We just throw ourselves in the deep end, and you just have the memories.
The deep end, though, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. Ice on the road, freezing cold, not the summer gloves. I was just wearing like a barber jacket with no armor.
But you're not freezing.
Oh, it was Baltic. It was cold.
Did you have your? Because I know you've got cardos, haven't you?
I didn't then.
Oh, okay. No, that's good though, because I know that I've been on the back and when it's been freezing, and I scream in my helmet because that's how I get through. Because I'm like, ah!
Just grimacing through it. Yeah. No, Julia would just be holding on for dear life, and just as soon as we'd see like a petrol station or something, it would just be that. We need to pull over and get a coffee.
Didn't put you to be this like absolutely
just mad
Bear Grylls guy. Like, meh, just get on the bike. We're gonna go do it.
Did, yeah.
I'm finding this more and more with the bikers, that they literally just been there, done that kind of thing. Did it? It's a new word now. It's really inspiring, because I'm there thinking, okay, I need to be protected. How are we going to do the whole journey? Because I really want to do the Scotland 500.
Yeah.
That's a goal for me next year. But I'm like, we need the right gear, the bikes. And then I'm listening to you guys. You're like, no, I just got on my bike, made it happen.
But the thing is, I'm all about safety. So we were kind of idiotic back then doing it with all the wrong stuff.
Not recommended.
Not recommended. No, bad British motorbiker. But looking at it now, I always make sure I'm safe. So I just did the other one with Ducati, get around the southwest of England, which was insane. With
your gorgeous Oxford gear.
Indeed, Oxford is killing me out.
It was actually because I saw your stuff, I reached out to them. I was like,
is that right?
Oh wow, you're actually working with people.
But it's amazing what they do.
They're such a nice team, and the quality, because I work with other biker protection brands. This is not a sponsored thing, by the way. This is just a general conversation. And it was just, I found the difference, because I didn't believe the difference from being a non-biker when I wore just a biker jacket, because I was like, still leather, it's still like padded XYZ. But it was the quality of leather and how it hugs you and forms to your body. I think that's so important. But yeah, watching your stuff, I was like, oh my God, because it's very classic British chic in a 007 kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? Do you know the old-fashioned movies where they have the classic scenery and the classic clothing, but it's very modern chic as well? It's an odd one for me. I'm just going to go into fashion. You're going to be like, what is this? But that for me, when I see things look aesthetically pleasing, I'm like, I can do that. I can travel there. I can do this. And then you don't realise the grit that goes behind it, and that you're screaming and crying into your helmets. But no, that your page has been really inspiring for me. But to also hear that your story, I don't even know. I don't know how you gained the confidence to keep going, and from going from being told that you can do X, Y, Z, you can't drive, to then being like, I'm gonna get on a motorbike with minimum protection and go for it. What mindset did you have to use to get going from that?
Well, I just kind of didn't have an alternative. It sounds like
full stop.
pretty much.
No plan B.
That was kind of it. Like, I mean, I can drive now. It's got to a point where I've done enough physio, and it's the pain has stopped and everything, that I can drive, and that's good. But back then, I was like, if I don't do this, I will not have a job. I won't have an income. I will not be able to pay my rent. I will not be able to do. So it's kind of like, I need to get to work. I need to do something and figure it out. And that was.
What was the pull towards then getting the bikes that you've chosen to go for, more the Scrambler-esque, the bobber kind of vibe?
Yeah. Instead
of the super bikes or the alternatives that are out there, what was the drive?
In all honesty, it's going to sound
pun
really
intended.
It's just what I could get my hands on.
Okay.
I mean, just knowing at that age, can I see myself putting myself on a 600 plus cc bike with no experience? Probably not. Yeah. Because I am drawn to them. That's the thing. I'm not pigeonholing myself into the corner of Scrambler. I love that world, but at the same time, I'm obsessed with speed. Cars,
dun, dun,
you
dun.
know, there we go.
I was wondering why you got here so quick.
And give me a bike like that, and I would love to do it.
Have you ridden super bikes?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Ooh.
So the most powerful bike I've ridden is the 1100 Sport Pro.
So we're going to do a video, and we're going to get you on a super bike. We're going to do it.
Okay, well, I need to get some leathers then.
We'll get you some leathers. We'll sort it out. Even if it's a round ago, we'll see what happens. We'll get you a super bike somewhere.
But, that would be fun. No, I look at them and I think one day. But I just, the reason for the mutt is it just looked cool. There are a lot of 125s out there, and it had some flair to it. I thought that's a cool one. It's quite expensive for
yeah, because they look very classy and very they look very expensive.
Yeah.
Because all the eyes were on you when you were riding your Ducati as well, and I was just like, that's a nice bike, and the color is gorgeous as well. Because you tweak them, don't you?
Yeah.
So what do you do in that? What made you tweak them? What makes you? Because I'm terrified when people say tweak your bike. I'm like, if I do something wrong, it's going to be my life on the line.
Well, I mean, the reason I got the Scrambler, I suppose, to answer that bit first, is purely just for a friend. I've packed up with the mutt, and I thought, what do I want? I was looking at the Triumphs, I was looking at Harleys, I was looking at Suzuki, I was looking at you name it.
Yeah.
KTM's, that sort of stuff wasn't really my style at that time. The world of Ducati I thought was just untouchable.
Yeah.
I just thought, how am I going to get into the world of Ducati? They have that name about them. And I looked at all the BMW. BMW, you have to have a year on your license before you can even test ride one.
Really?
Yeah. Unless they just said that to me. Maybe, I don't know. But, so I tried to take an R90 out, and they were like, no, how long have you had your license?
Oh, okay.
A couple of days. Nope. You need to have it for a year. So again, that's kind of just crossed off. Of course, I could have gone second hand and whatnot. And through a family friend, someone had access to this 62. And I thought, okay, and had an amazing deal on it. So I just jumped on it and thought, yes. I went and saw it in person, fired it up, heard the exhaust, thought this is me through and through. So literally paid it, got the insurance, and drove off there and then. And it wasn't until I started to look back at the photos and doing long rides, I realised this isn't the position I really want to be in. This isn't the style of riding that I want, because it's quite an upright bar.
Yeah.
Suitable for going off-roading and all that kind of stuff. But that, again, I wasn't really doing that then, didn't have the confidence. So I thought, I like the bent over, quite attacking position, especially hitting the corners.
So you call it attacking, I call it fetal, because for me, I feel really safe when I'm like bent over and I've got the I can hold things tight, because I feel that I've sat on a chopper, my hands are like far from me, and I'm like, I feel so exposed.
Just completely exposed. Yeah.
Like if something could happen, I'm like, I'm gonna go 20 miles per hour in this. That's
but this far. You are cocooned up.
This is like go, because then I feel like it's in my head the image of, you know, those Lego men that you put on like toys, and they don't budge, like they pop off.
Yeah.
But they're fine. That's how I always envision myself. If something goes wrong, I'm just gonna pop off and I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Airbag.
So I can't. can't envisage myself feeling
Mm.
that space between me and the handlebars.
Yeah. And that was it with the 62. It was for any scrambler. It's you're very, you know, elbows bent, quite upright, very just chilled position. It's comfortable. They're not built again for speed. They're built for just cruising and going off road when you need to. But I didn't like that, so I changed it. And so yeah, I started looking at the modifications. I did the back end first, and then went into the handlebars, and then changed the levers, and then changed other bits and pieces. Haven't touched the colour. One thing Julie always tells me is change the colour.
Why?
She can't stand that colour.
The
ocean grey is what they call
Oh,
that.
okay. I love that.
I know, and it gets a hell of a lot of compliments.
So I think you should buy another one and sell that to me. It's a really good idea, I think. I think it's a fab idea. No. See, damn it.
So Julie's doing her Mod 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
And then she's taking the bike. But I'm going to have to put it back to how it was.
Damn it, Julie.
You fight for it. She's only sourced.
I liked you before. I think it's stunning, but it's such sweet. So, do you ever worry about Julie getting her full license and?
Yeah, yeah, because she, as I say, she's petite. She's 5'1", and I just pick her up. You know, she's that small. I'm 6'1".
Luggage? Where's the luggage on the back of the bike?
I've dropped her again. But the idea, you know, I went and saw her do a CVT on the same bike that I built for her. Actually, it was the same model, but it wasn't the actual one. And I just loved it. Just this picture of her just on this bike, and she did the CVT brilliantly. And now she's going around on this Suzuki 650. And I'm like, this is mad. This is more power than my bikes, because the 60 is only 400.
Yeah.
This is more power than I've got, and you can barely touch the floor. You know? So she's got these big boots to accommodate, but she knows what she's doing. I mean, her dad's a petrol head through and through, so she's known motorbikes since she was a little toddler. So I think again that's why she put me in contact with them with bikes into that world, because she knows about them, and she knows how cool they are, how dangerous they are, but just how to treat them. And she's going to go a long way with it. I know she is, and I'm excited to have her alongside me.
I'm excited to see what you guys create.
Yeah,
because it's quite empowering to see a guy encouraging his partner to get involved. And I mean, not that girls need encouragement to get involved, but sometimes I feel like I did. I needed that support. I needed that someone to stand next to me and be like, yeah, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, because it's a male-dominated world. But when you see the women coming into it, and some of them are just more on fire than I've ever seen anyone in my life.
Yeah.
And it's also sweet, because I feel that for me, in my experience, when I've wanted to ride and been interested in a guy that doesn't ride, he doesn't quite understand it, and it's scary for him, because he's thinking, wow, she's going to be super exposed to, like, anything could go wrong. They want to protect you. But when you're both riding, it's almost like they understand what could potentially happen, but they're there to support you through the journey. Which I think it's almost like one of those things when you have something in common with someone, you're like, yes, found the one. Because when you can engage in that journey together, it's just a lot more rewarding.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So
are you going to custom the bike completely for her, or?
Well, I mean, I think we'll probably send it off to do the paint job. I won't do the paint job myself.
Tell her to keep the paint job as it is.
I can try. She's adamant on getting it. It's like, you know, one of those nice deep greys.
Okay.
So she's not something crazy, but just kind of like a nice deep grey.
I'm not totally against that.
Yeah. So I think it would look good.
It
that
probably
kind of
look
stealthy
good,
style
but I do
to it.
like the colour so much.
I do, you know, just be parked up on the side of the road, take my helmet off.
It's actually one of my favourite colours, and I'm there like,
really?
You're going to get rid of it? And I'm just like,
I'm just going to zip it and just move on.
So I'll take the pictures of today, and I'll pride myself on it.
Well, I don't know, she may keep it. She may keep it. But everything else will go back to how it was, the handlebars and all of that. But it's fun to tweak it. I mean, I don't have a background in engineering or anything. I did product design with engineering at uni, but not like full-on crazy mechanical
quite a bit,
engineering.
To be honest, haven't you?
Into what? In terms of building bikes?
No, in terms of just everything. You're like, well, I went through this, did this, now I've got a bike, on here.
I do hear that about. I just kind of go for it. I don't see this so often just setting me down on one thing. If I get bored of it, move on and just carry on. So yeah, I just adapt and try things. And the bike that I built for Julie, which is a YBR 125, it was a wreck. It was a write-off, and I just got it and I've cleaned it up and rebuilt it and taught myself a hell of a lot along the way. But that's just kind of in my nature. I just kind of learn as I go, and as long as I'm having fun.
That's how to do it, though, isn't it?
Yeah. but we'll see.
So after all, I looked at your account, and that was kind of how I got in touch with you. And I kind of wanted to ask you, mainly for the audience, you said that you've now trying to go at this full time. So what was that energy behind wanting to go full time, apart from the job situation? Because you do really well with PR and how you design your feed. So what would you say has been the inspiration behind the design of the feed, how you do your photos, and how you reach out to brands?
Oh, crikey, there's some good ones there.
Sorry.
No, it's perfect.
Prepared you now.
It used to be literally, because the account I used to have, the British Motorbiker, used to be my personal account, and I just had all kind of shots in there, and then it gradually moved into the world of bikes, and that's when I changed the name. But it used to be all over the place, but now you kind of see a symmetry in in the layout of the feed. You get all that sort of like diagonal lines, the way the bike's positioned, sort of the colours.
Really? Is it that?
That's what we kind of get into. We'll sit down and be like, is that photo going to look good there? Or no, we had the bike from that angle already, so maybe we should do a flip and try and do that. Or we've been quite warm colours, maybe we should try and move it into that. Or, we don't want to post that one yet because it's too green, and we were in kind of like a different space.
Because you do go through, I've noticed you go through themes.
Indeed, yeah. Trying to, not so much like following the months or the seasons or anything like that, but just kind of what takes our fancy at that time. And definitely the edits as well have changed, and I think that in itself has affected how we've done the feed, because we used to just do everything on the iPhone edit, just like change the warmth, change it here and there, and then we invested in Lightroom, and now we're doing everything that.
World has changed.
It really does though. Like the way you can just tweak small amounts here and there. I feel that's what leveled up the photography. The base was already there, but getting that colour coming through has just escalated it.
Because as much as I love your page, I also hate it, because every time I look at your page, I'm thinking to myself, damn it, I should have followed a theme. And then I'm like, oh, but I really want to post this shot. And then I'm like, I see your page and I'm like, damn it, I should have followed a theme. Because every now and then you pop up, and I'm not ready for it. Because I feel really bad about my page. And I go through my page. He'll get my business partner will get a call from me, and I'll be like, I want my page to look more like this. And he's like, okay, so post the content in the way you want to do it. And I'm like, but I want to post this next. And
that's the thing. It's being ready to take a shot and not use it for goodness knows how many months. But the thing is, with the bike, if the bike's changed, then it's like, oh, can I actually post it now? Because it's like I've made this change to the bike, and I don't want to go back. So sometimes you just don't use the content at all.
Because I don't know what to do, because I always end up with, as much as my account's grown, it grew more because I modelled for a while. It was growing through TV recognition and things like that. And then it was more from my social media events and things like that. But it was never for just pure content, although I love to stick by quality content. It was just a bit everywhere at times. And then I'm there. So I went from blonde hair to black hair again, and I was blonde for a bit, but then I hadn't posted so many shots, and I was like, now I can't post them because people are going to know that it's not current. And it's just it's so much to think about, because I have an app on my phone where I plan it all out.
As do I,
Never follow it. Ever.
Oh, okay.
And I'm there like, okay, so I'm going to post this next, but no, I want to post this now. And then there'll be phases of like a block of 9 where I love my feed. And I'm like, I found a theme, and I'll put on my story, do you like my new theme? And next thing it's like a picture in pink.
It'll just change again.
And I don't know how you've managed to commit to, because your stuff is it follows so much cohesion. And I find that for me is mentally exhausting. So what would you say is like top tips to get that aesthetic?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to get Julie in here.
Julie. this is my avenue.
It's I won't lie, there's a lot of making yourself a margarita in the evening, sitting back and just going through some shots and figuring out what to go next. Normally there's alcohol involved. You've got to be in a good frame of mind to do it. But just sort of this is hopeless. I don't know, but
sorry.
No, because it's good. It's got me thinking. Because normally it is some kind of like the way the bike's positioned, or the position I've got my head looking that way, or the normal kind of positioning. Or if we've got a shot in mind that we just know we love and we really hope it does well, and it's going to be posted in a week or two, then we'll normally try and adapt the feed to build up towards that.
Right.
So it's those kind of things. I know these are really poor answers, and they're not
No,
really
because
going to
that's an
help someone.
interesting. That's an interesting. Yeah, because people are like they're writing
What do
notes
I
and they're
do?
like, call Julie.
Yeah, just question mark. Just literally start again. But it is. It's, if we know we've got a big shot coming up, or one that we're in love with, because we get the occasional one where we're just like, that's
a banger.
That's we fell in love with that. Normally because it's something. It was quite a difficult shot to take, or it was quite a lot behind the scenes. We'll then try and adapt it to be like we want to feed into that naturally. So we'll start to tweak the colours. We'll start to tweak that bit. We'll start to get the different positioning.
Do you do on preset?
In terms of like just have a preset
ready?
Yeah,
do you have a preset?
We always just naturally. We kind of follow a basis, but then we'll add on top of that.
Yeah, because I struggle with the preset life. A lot of influencers and stuff like that, they say they've got presets. I've started creating them for certain people we shoot, but I'm always completely changing it. And I find that every shot for me is its own style, and that's my point of struggle. Whenever I put the similar colours, I'm like, no, it doesn't work. It would look so much better like this.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Because every shot we do when it's up, it will be in its own unique colouring. And then you'll go to another day's shoot and you'll try and apply the same filter to it or the same preset, and it'll just look dreadful. Or it just won't have that flair to it. And you're like, no. So literally every unique shoot has its own preset.
We used to enjoy doing this thing called infra brown,
right,
where we make things the browns really pop and the blues turn into a teal. And we'd infra brown a shot because that's how we'd fix a lot of things. We'd be like, infra brown, infra brown, infra brown. And then we did it on some shots, and all you'd hear is my business partner going, whoa, that's so terrible.
Oh, wow.
Because it was just so strange. And you just think to yourself, how has it gone from that to this? And sometimes it takes a lot of stepping away and coming back, because sometimes you can edit something and look at it and think, what did I just do? It looks like it's on the sun.
Was I even awake when I did that?
It's too blue, too orange, too this, too that, too much clarity. Like, there's so much things that you have to learn from behind the scenes, but yours all seem very, I'd say, smooth. All your shots are very smooth. And even I struggled to, I've been doing this as a proper business, and I'm there like, I can't figure out how to do the whole theming, the whole cohesion thing. And what would you say is the best, other than having a drink in the evening? What would you say is...
You sound like
It's alright, he's amazing, he's great fun. He's always, I call him in the evening, guys. Always contact him in the evening. What would you say is like the best advice you could give if someone's starting a feed and they're trying to create a business out of it? How would they go about creating that cohesion?
I think it's
without everything seeming samey, because that's another thing. It can look too. We shot everything in one go. On the same day. And because I see a lot of feeds like that, and I look at them, I'm like, it's just the same shot, the same bike, the same place. How do you make the bike look different moods, different feelings?
You're spot on. I mean, I'm definitely the type of guy who goes for countryside more than urban. I'm definitely more rural than urban, and I've kind of then tried to stick with that. But again, you get so many different environments in out in the countryside. So you can have open fields where it's literally just the focal point would be the bike, or you can have a sort of a load of trees where it envelops it, and then again that's going to change the focal point of the bike. So it's kind of just understanding how the environment around the bike can affect it. If that actually makes any sense, or if I'm just gibbering on.
Well, I noticed that because there's only so many ways you can shoot a bike.
There are,
and making it look different and creating different energies around them has been quite difficult. I've noticed for modelling shots, like static shots of someone posing, the back end of the bike tends to do really well because it just still gives that shape. I don't know how to even describe that. And then it's a tough one to do, to make a bike look different each time and shooting each time, but then also creating a feed out of it. So when I looked at yours, every image has like a story. I enjoyed the feed. And even there was some stuff that you did in traffic where I saw there was a blur of the car and different perspectives. And I was like, wow, he really thinks outside the box. So that thought process, I mean, you're going to have to, anyone watching, if they're interested, check out the page. There'll be certain shots that really stand out. Have you ever had a viral moment?
There was one shot which I think has the most likes. I think I hit the 5K mark.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that to me just seemed like a normal shot.
Yeah.
And then I've done some of these other shots, so I think are going to explode the internet, and nothing happens. And you get all mentally prepared for it, and then you post it. It's like, oh, it's just. Okay,
it underperforms.
Okay. That was dreadful. Can we just delete that from the feed?
I've done it where I've got a shot and I'm thinking it's gonna go mental. I'm so ready for this. I'll post it. It underperforms, so I'll delete it and then I'll repost it, and still it underperforms. And I'm do you know how much effort went into that shot?
Yeah.
And no one and the ones that are just effortless, where they're not even probably a shot, they're probably a screen grab. They just go mental, and I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah, just everything about it's right. Everything's just falling into place on that particular shot.
Does it give you self-doubt? It gives me massive self-doubt. I'm sat there thinking to myself, is there something wrong with my brain?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Am I just blind? I think this looks amazing, and it's
what is everyone else seeing?
Well, that's it. Yeah, can I take myself and be a fly on the wall?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about this shot? Like, do people go for the feed and just burst out laughing?
Yeah, what the hell?
And it sounds silly to even get kind of tied up in that and care about that, but you do want to know that the work you're putting into it.
I think it's nice when you do care, because there are people out there that just post for the sake of posting, and it's so annoying because they don't even do tagging or anything, and they're just 1 million likes, and it's like, thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. It's like I don't post every day.
Yeah.
And I know you're talking about people starting up in this. What do they do? It's definitely the theme's the main thing.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to have a photo of you, some really gorgeous shot which you've taken a lot of effort to do, and then just a random side like iPhone shot which is all pixelated and not very clean or something, and just thrown up for the sake of throwing up. You want to get into that continuity.
What's your post schedule like then?
Well, that's it. So I posted yesterday, whenever this is going to be aired, but I didn't post for about 5 or 6 days before that, and it's kind of just what feels right.
Right, because for me, I've been told, you should post every day, every other day.
That's have I.
And then I'm stressed there thinking, I just want to sit back and enjoy my life.
Yeah. Sometimes I just literally don't want to post.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are other times. So when we came back from this tour around the southwest, we had so much that we kind of wanted to churn it all out and just shot after shot after shot after shot. I've never posted more than one shot in a day. I've never done like the 2, because I know sometimes people can do that.
I used to do 3 a day.
Really?
What was wrong with me?
See, that's just exhausting.
It was mentally and then just completely draining.
By the time you look for a photo that you may have liked, it's sort of all the way down the bottom because you've posted so much since.
I think it's that thirst for wanting to do well in this career, in this industry.
Yeah.
There's so many rewards, as you're probably starting to receive as well, because I can see in your feed and who you're connected with. There's so much reward in this industry of experience, product, and overall lifestyle. There's things I've done in this industry which money couldn't buy, and the people I've met, and it's fun. So when I think of those things, you really want to push it and you really want to succeed in it, because you think, if this is my numbers now and these are my experiences now, magnify that. It is stressful, but you come home and you feel a sense of fulfillment for doing it for yourself, which I felt, but I don't know, I'm speaking for you, but I can't speak for
agree.
you.
No, I agree.
And for people to appreciate your opinion, value, because I came from modelling. Modelling I was not respected as you were a canvas. People don't get that with modelling. You're a canvas, you lose weight when you're told to lose weight, you gain weight when you're told to gain weight, you're a mannequin. Right. And then I was like, well, influencers, like, people are like, the clothes fit them, they don't fit the clothes. The events fit them, they don't fit the events. So I was like, I want to do that.
Very good way of putting it. Yeah.
And the same with bikes, like, they start to ask our opinions now. Things are changing even in the bike world for women, because they're asking our opinions because we have a following. And I was like, well, if that's how things are working, I want to do more of it, because they'll be like, oh, do you want to come see this? Do you want to come go here? Do you want to come and we'll rent out the whole cinema for the 3 of you? And you're thinking, oh my God, this is life. Because you've done stuff with some really cool brands, and
I feel very lucky with some of the people I've worked with. Yeah.
But when you get that package also, you're just like, what just happened? Yeah. And that feeling never goes away.
No. Every time I get something delivered to me, I open it up, I'm just like, is this really what I'm doing now?
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually, people want to hear my opinion on something, and I don't want to be a yes man to everything. That's something, is keeping it genuine. And actually, if I open up a product and it's not to a good quality, or something's wrong with it, I'll happily tell them. I'll happily say that
that's
there's
another
something
thing, though, the transparency.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people in this industry that, in overall, if they get something for free, they think it's for free, but it's not. You're actually working for it. You're going out making the content. You're giving the opinion, which people may do anyway after they've spent their money. But we also have to review that and people base that on trust.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are people that I've seen in our industry that will do a toothpaste here, a trainer here, a high heel, and a teeth whitening kit. And you're just like, okay, where are you headed? It's not about the freebies. It's about what can you do with a product to make it valuable for the company as well. Because at the end of the day, they're just normal people like us that are wanting to promote their products and their goods and get the opinions back. So for me, it was a hard change to get into collaborations with brands. How did you start falling? Because your interaction is incredible. Your numbers are great, but they're not like millions.
No.
So, you know, you've got relatable numbers.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting how you started to almost monetize in a way your platform. You're on how many?
7.5.
Yeah,
about now.
7,000.
Yeah.
So how have you managed on that to monetize and create the content and get the respect? Because you're a guy in an industry which is the norm.
Yeah.
So how has that happened?
Well, that's it. So I feel like it's on my website, you know, which I put out there. I've got a whole page of all my collaborations. And there are some people on there who I feel have helped me. So like with the RNG Classics, like with Louis as well. Like that was just a friend needed some help and I went and helped them. And that's to this day been my favourite shoot of all time.
It was incredible, that shoot.
Yeah, no,
that I think got me my attention was from the RNG.
So, I mean, in that case there, I can't say anything because it was just literally right place, right time. A contact for a friend said they needed someone with a bike. And I could just happen to be the guy who could get there on time and help them out. So those kind of things. But with other ones, you know, you get people who approach you and say, would you mind repping a t-shirt or repping something here, which I'm happy to do. But when it got to the larger ones, it was mainly just me messaging them. You know, just being very open. Look, I'm at 6,000, I'm at 7,000. I know I'm really small fry right now. This is the way my feed's going. Are you open to at least having a conversation or seeing what I could potentially do with your product? Like, have you ever considered doing something with a Scrambler? I see you've got a lot of Harleys or you've got a lot of something, particular bike type on your feed. Have you ever thought about going down this route? And just sort of introducing myself to them. And again, just being genuine. I want them to know me. I want them to actually, from day one, you know, they're going to be talking to the guy all along. They're not going to suddenly shift one day and be completely and have this facade. It's always me from day one. And it's just like, like, your feed is this. Can you actually imagine someone are you looking for that urban feel? Are you looking for that rural feel? Are you looking for that Scrambler aesthetic, that retro style? Because your other bikes aren't really like that. Do you think it would work? And if they say no, they say no. If they say yes, then
it's
amazing.
Not being hung up on the answer, I guess, because there are so many no's in this industry.
Hundreds.
And even me, I still reach out to people. And there's, I mean, like for me, that's the one I keep saying. I always say for me for some reason. But yeah, for me, beauty was a massive thing and biking was a massive thing. And a lot of them don't see the mesh. So I'm trying to like pave the way that there is a mesh there because I care about my skin, I care about how I look, and I like my bikes. And sometimes my page is more bike heavy than it's more beauty heavy, and I'm trying to find that cohesion. But it's explaining to brands where my following has grown from, what my audience is looking for, and keeping away from brands that I wouldn't want to buy myself.
That's it. And that's what I was going to say. It's the people I work with. It's because I actually have a genuine interest. And that's something I would actually go and put my hard-earned cash towards, which is why I do. You know, if I get something from a brand and I really like it, I am going to then go and buy more stuff from them. I'm not going to expect them to just throw everything my way and get it for free. Because I generally believe in what they've actually put out there. And that's like with the Oxford stuff. Again, when I'm not plugging it, but actually speaking to the guys and understanding the quality of some of their gear that they're putting out there, you're like, I didn't realise this, and it's actually affordable.
I go out normally, and well, obviously I go out normally. I was wearing my Oxford jeans. My partner turns to me and goes, "We're at the cinema. Why are you wearing your jeans?" I was just like, "But they're so comfortable." I just took the armour out, and I was just like, I just wear them because my other ones have holes in them, and that's not really practical all the time. But they were so comfortable, and it was just like, if I hadn't been introduced to them through PR, I would buy the stuff, and I would continue to do so. It's not about freebies. It's about looking at your audience and saying, you know what, this is the stuff I would buy. I know I'm providing value to the brand by creating the best quality content available to me. And that's how I want to encourage an industry to grow. That's the only way I see collaboration working. If you're just trying to get freebies left, right, centre, then you're not going to grow, because there are brands that work better for different types of bikers. And because I feel like you hit the nail on the head with the brands you're working with, what I've seen on your account, because you've done Quadlock, you've done Oxford, you've done, there was a few other brands I've seen. None are coming to mind right now. Great. But I think it was Moto something that I've seen on your account.
Clothing or? Yeah,
it was a jacket or something like that. But it was all very your style. Yeah. And it was very believable, which was another thing. It was very much, oh, okay, I would actually buy that. Oh, I like that. I've seen that. It's cool. The quality's good. But it was just also such a nice thing to see, because I've always heard it. My friends always say it to me. It's not always about your numbers. I say it to a lot of my other friends. One of them, she's got like 10K. She's like, I've not got numbers like you. I've like, but your interaction's like mine. Yeah. So go for it. If you're influencing even 20 people, that's 20 sales, and that's good. So think of it like that. Don't think of how many numbers you have, because it's the concentration of how dedicated they are to you, which matters more.
But I've only recently learned that.
Yeah.
And I happily, put my hands up and say I thought it was a numbers game. And I thought, all along I've been thinking, I need to get to that 10K mark. I need to push for that. I need to push that. I need to do everything I can to
There's
get to
elements of that. It's more the pizzazz of it, isn't it? So you see someone at 10K and it's like you've got that K.
Exactly. You can swipe up and sort.
It's the K. I didn't realize. So I'd always been at like, as far as back as I can remember, like 20, 30. I stayed on 30K for years, and then 40K. Now I'm staying there for a little while, and it's slowly edging up. But I started the podcast page, and I was like, swipe up to see the podcast. I was like, hang on a second, I can't do this. And I suppose those are the limiting factors. But the main thing was, I was then cross-pollinating as best as I could. I was like, go here, go here. The link is in the bio, everyone. But it's fun for people to see your growth. It's fun for people to grow with you. Yeah. And if a lot of people, especially a lot of people have been hit in COVID, a lot of people have lost their jobs. They're looking for more maintainable careers, which are what is it?
Self-sustainable.
So self-sustaining. I was going to go to isolating, and I was like, wait, wrong word. But self-sustaining businesses, and influencing is one of them, because everyone's opinion matters. Yeah. There's a platform for everyone. And it's how recognizable, believable, authentic you are. That is what translates. And I had no idea the journey that you've been on, but seeing the products and the quality that you do, it's very rewarding to a brand to see that you try and work to the best of your ability. Would you say that you would do something with Julie in the influencing world, or would you always keep your stuff separate?
I think I'd like to, yeah, absolutely. With the right company.
The British Motorbikers.
Well, absolutely. I don't know if she's going to start her own one, and then if she's going to go off. I don't know. But
has that not been a discussion you've had then?
She hates being on the camera.
Really?
She hates being on camera. So that's one of the reasons why it works for me, having her take all the shots.
Right.
But the thing is, I'm excited for her to get on the bike as well, because I want to start doing the photography.
Yeah.
I do a lot of the still shots when I'm not on it, when it's just the bike by itself. But I want to start shooting her. And I want to get some cool shots. And I want to fly the drone, because I've got a drone.
Oh, yeah.
She's terrified of flying it, which is why you never see any drone content. But I want to start, actually following her with the drone and doing some cool stuff. So I'm really excited to what the two of us can do together. And if it just so happens that a company sees our pairing as something enjoyable to follow, if it's a tour related or if it's just doing something mechanical, or who knows, like even doing up her bike, and a company wants to jump in on that, I'd love that. absolutely. I think it'd be fun to do, as long as it's keeping the authenticity, as long as I enjoy it, because those are the things that I always have to do. As soon as I start to not enjoy it, and I feel like it's becoming fake, I know I've just crossed the line that I need to then take a break and come back.
You're not creating in the best space when you're not.
Exactly.
You want to take this actually full time. You said that earlier, and you're expanding. So how are you going to look to expand?
So YouTube, I think, is the one that's it's been sort of Damocles over my head right now. It's sort of just I need to start. I've been panicking about this, and I've just been putting it on, off and off and off and off.
I've been doing that for years. I kid you not. I've been doing it for years. I've just been like, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow, and just YouTube for me is just a different mindset.
Yeah. It's not a story which is going to be up for 24 hours and then you don't care how you look or anything about it. It's going to disappear. It's going to be gone. YouTube is there. It is at any given moment in time, someone can go and find that video where you've made a fool of yourself. And
you're just like, oh my God, like, what is this?
Yeah.
Because that was the best start for me, was with the podcast, starting the YouTube channels from there and learning the consistency of my ideas once a week. And so I put up a story the other day, which was like, thinking of starting my own channel, what would you like to see? And a lot of people were like, behind the scenes of what I get up to in a week. And I was like, great. It just so happens the next week's super busy, so I'm going to film it. And then I'm just like cringing to myself over filming it, because getting the ideas of what to film, getting the backlog, how it runs, all of those things. Because I don't think people realise how exhausting it is. There's no off days, technically. So how is your mindset over starting? I've just completely not sold it to anyone.
No, not at all. But this is the thing, and it's the world of getting the phone out or getting the. So we just bought some new gear to treat ourselves, so we can try and make it somewhat actually good quality. And it's the idea of just wherever you may be, just getting that out and just talking to it and just being yourself to this screen. And for all you know, there could be one person watching, or there could be thousands of people watching, but the standard can't fluctuate depending on those. You've always got to give it your all. And there have been times I've just been doing stories on Instagram. I'm just like, I look like a fool right now. Like,
it's not even to the audience. It's to the people around me. When I'm stood there, and I even earlier I pulled out my phone to try and film like a BTS.
Yes.
And I was there holding it, and I was like, please don't look at me.
I caught that.
Like, I was just like, hi guys, and then halfway through I'm just like, oh bollocks, oh okay, do it again, because it's so hard, because it's an augmented persona of you when you're on camera. I mean, we've had chilled out conversation, there's been pauses, but when you're on YouTube and stuff like that, you're full throttle. And just shout out to Charisma, Full Throttle's her business from last week. But you go full at it, and you just can't chill. So I found that YouTube's always been harder for me to sustain than. I did have a YouTube channel, and it's hilarious. I don't even know. I wish I hadn't deleted all the stuff. It was predating like early days when I had no shame. Right. You know, when you're younger and you're just like, I'm an influencer, I'm a this, that, and the other, and I can't stand all that now. And it's because I love to be present, and I struggle with being present and filming and giving all my energy to my audience as well as living my life.
I literally, I couldn't agree more. It's knowing when to take that pause and be like, okay, I need to actually now do this for said YouTube channel or said whatever social media platform. But at the same time, sometimes you just get used to it, so caught up in it all, you just want to carry on and go with it, and then whole day's gone by and you think, I caught none of that on camera. Okay, that was a fail, got to wait until the next event. And it's finding that balance, and I think right now that's something I'm going to struggle with. But it's just, I think as you go on and do more and more, it's just going to become a second nature.
What kind of things are you going to put on your YouTube? Have you thought of is it going to be under the British Motorbiker?
It's the British Motorbiker, absolutely. It's an extension of my persona. It is me who you see on Instagram, but again, behind the scenes, more sort of actually on the bike and doing tours, and actually just my life around that, and the day of the British Motorbiker and Julie and whatnot. So I mentioned the bike build with Julie. I didn't document that at all. I've got photos, and there are a few bits here and there, but video was just non-existent. And so I'd like to get to the point where I can start actually doing bike builds and having fun with them. Going and trying out test riding bikes, meeting up with other Instagrammers and other social people, and having days out. That's the thing about it. Is opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
It's just being organised enough and confident enough to follow through with it.
Yeah.
Because it all sounds amazing when you talk about it right now, but when you actually push comes to
And
shove.
realising people want to see the stuff that's not so polished.
Yeah.
I think I've struggled the most with that, because I'm at home receiving my parcels and I'm like, oh, I should have really vlogged that.
Yeah.
But then I'm here in my like crazy pajamas, which are like complete mismatch, and like odd socks or whatever I've got on, and I'm thinking, is there a level of, because
can I show this?
Maybe it's an age thing. As I've got older, I'm less put together at home.
Yeah.
And there's a level of me if I'm put together going out, but I'm less put together at home. And it's just like, this is not aesthetically pleasing in the slightest. Like, there's a spot, I've got toothpaste on it or something, and I'm like, do I show this? But I know that I would want to see that in others because I would want to relate to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then I'm so scared to put that out there, because I'm like, oh my God, I've got hair all in my hair most of the time at home, and it's up in a ponytail, and I look, in my opinion, I look completely different to when I'm out. So I'm thinking, oh my God, how do I put this out there and be okay with it?
Yeah.
And do I want to keep things private? What do I keep private? If I keep things private, are people going to find it and then bring it up? So then it becomes a massive thing in my head, and I'm thinking, what do I do?
It's a dilemma.
Yeah.
It really is. But I agree. Yeah, you get something. You know, I'm just here in trackies or just like loungewear. It's like, do I put jeans on and a t-shirt to do this unboxing, or can I just be me? That
was me yesterday. I waited all day. I had my Rock helmets, and they were in their boxes, and I was like, I'm gonna wait for my partner to get home. And then Shaz, my business partner, was in the house, and I said, should we just open them? And then I was like, should we film it? And I was like, can you film it? And then I was like, nah. Actually, yeah. No, we should film it. And then we didn't film it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Okay.
And I was like, after I'd done it, I was like, we should have filmed it. And then he was like, yeah, it would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I put them back and then redo it? Then it just feels so inauthentic. So I was like, oh, okay, next time, it'll happen again. And the next time I'll forget, because I'll be so excited to open the package. Because a lot of my friends, they unbox at the end of the week, and they're like, all of my stuff together. But I can't wait. I'm so excited to get into my package.
What is this?
Like, what is that package? So it's getting yourself into that. Authenticity is all well and good to say, but it, especially in a couple, I struggle with how I would do that. So I don't know, have you got any tips for me? How would I even go about it? Because I know you want to get into it. You seem very put together in how you do things.
I appreciate that.
I might have to start drinking margaritas. I might just be it.
Maybe just the martinis and margaritas holding me together.
That's what's keeping you going.
I think it might be.
Oh my God, because I do struggle with that. Because if you're going to show your life, or the elements of your life, how would that be? Would it just be events? Would it just be outings?
I don't want it to be. I want people to know me.
Yeah.
I want people to see another level which they've never seen before. There's one thing that always comes to mind. I did an unboxing and we had just got a kitten, and the little thing jumped up on me, and it was so small it could like burrow in my neck and all that. And I filmed it. I had the box on one arm and had the cat Yammy running up my sleeve on the other.
It's so funny that yours is Yammy and mine's Shadow, because Yammy means shadow, doesn't it?
I love that. Yeah, it's this smallest
amazing.
Little cutest little kitten you've ever seen. My first pet. But I just showed it, and loads of people loved it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I can't do that all the time, but it's something I'd never done before, to show this, this other side of me, that they do have a life at home, and I do have other things, and it was really sweet. And I would like to show more of that. And I think YouTube, it's the balance to do a show on YouTube or do a show on Instagram, which I think it's the thing that appeals to me is the story element. Is they have a life of 24 hours. Yes, people can screen grab and do what they ever want with them, but it's just that bit, and it's kind of in the moment. That was that day, on to the next, which I've always liked about stories. Whereas with YouTube, it's, I don't know, it doesn't really fit into that calendar, if that makes sense, so that sort of daily routine.
I tried to minimize it by doing 1 week. So I have an array of footage for over a year of content, but I've never put them into videos.
Yeah.
Because I just panic.
To be organised, the folder I've got,
There's just such scatty moments. There's one where I'm on a beach trying to do a jacket photo shoot on the hottest day of the year, because I was doing a campaign, and I left my phone filming, completely forgot it was there.
Okay.
Walk off, walk off, go get changed, walk past, random people are walking past my phone, and then 16 minutes later I come back and I'm like, there's my phone.
That's actually cool. Okay.
And I've got all of this hilarious, me eating watermelon after a long day of shooting, I was getting kicked out of places, like all of this stuff. But in my head, I'm like, do people want to see that? But I know they do. But then I'm like, do I want to show that?
Yeah.
It's always been a tough one for me. I've always wanted to put things out there, but then I've got the friends saying, oh, privacy, your privacy is so important. Yeah. But then I've also got people that I'm like, if I don't really have anything to hide.
That's it. Yeah.
I've got my partner, I've got my friends. They love me for who I am. People should follow me and like me for who I am, and that would be the easiest thing to maintain.
Yeah.
So
just being yourself.
I struggle still with how much do I disclose? What will people say? What will be, because there's always trolls and X, Y, Z that happen. And I just think, am I ready for that? So the podcast felt like the safest thing, just chatting to people, getting to know people. It felt the most relatable thing. It's almost like having a coffee and chatting. Yeah. That's why we do minimal chats before.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's just about, I suppose, finding yourself and finding what direction to go in has always been daunting. Because I feel like everyone else seems to get it and I just don't.
But I don't think they will stop if they'll do one thing, and if it doesn't feel right, they'll just move on. I don't think they're going to like, okay, that was it, I tried, and I'm going to give up now because I didn't like it. You just adapt.
I'm pretty sure if I do YouTube, it's going to end up looking very much like I have some sort of like personality issue. Because one day it's going to be like really happy. The next one will be like, where's my PR? I'm trying to call all the offices, my bills, I'm going to do this. And people will be like, wow, she's just in a different mood every single day. Because I do feel that there's a lot of events that go on, but they're like an hour in a day. And most of the time is traveling back and forth from those events. And I'm just there, we're either on the bike or in the car. And it's just how to translate the emotion and the feelings and the drive and the ambition through, oh, I'm at an event looking at a bike that I'm learning about bikes. And there's my partner pointing. He's like, oh, the suspension on this. I'm like, where am I looking? What am I looking at? Learning all of those things. But even when you have a partner, how would they feel translating the journey? Does it become a monster that takes over your life where you can't enjoy a situation because you're constantly thinking, I've got to take a picture, I've got to take this. So on holiday when we went to Bali, I kid you not, we had no time where the camera was off. And we were filming and taking pictures, and then we never edited it because we were like, we could have done better. So it's just a mess.
But the recent trip, that's the closest I've had to that. Because we went away for 9 days, and there'll be some times we'll be shooting until like 10 o'clock at night, and we think we haven't even had dinner yet. We've travelled 300 miles today. We've done, all this content, everything, and we haven't even eaten. And next we've got to go and check in or set up a tent or something. So that was the first time having like a couple actually experiencing that world properly. But it's just a balance. I think it's just, you look at people's channels and it's like, oh, they've got such a happy life and stuff like that. It's like, no, I have my days where I feel dreadful or just down or just want to be by myself or something. And it's like, would I show that? Because again, it's showing a different side which you've never seen before. I don't want you to think my life is just incredible and perfect and I do this. Because it's not. Like, I'm having a great time right now, but I still have my moments where I'm thinking, blimey, how am I going to do that? Or crikey, that's daunting. Or I'm a bit worried about this bit here. But that never conveys across.
This world, every day there's one of those experiences, at least one. If it's shooting something unusual, pushing the boundary, because you constantly are pushing your own boundary with who you talk to, rejection, not hearing back from things, being completely ignored, being told, oh, we're going to shoot something tomorrow, can you be there? And you're like, I have to drop everything to go there to do this because it's an opportunity like no other. And it's hitting the floor running almost so as to speak. So there's always something to film, but then you're like, when you review it all, you're like, what am I going to put out there? So your YouTube channel is going to be, do you have any ideas of what it's going to be based over?
Well, because there are so many different people. I don't want it to just be a over-the-shoulder me driving around through London filtering. Because I know a lot of people just jump on like that. The whole channel is just them riding.
It's funny how interesting that is, though, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I do look at some people and think, blimey, you've got a lot of skill. If I've been knocking a few mirrors off. That was me. Just ride. Just quickly get away. But I don't know. Again, it's just going to change. But there are a few YouTubers who I do follow, and I really like their style.
Such as?
Well, this funny thing is, Royal Jordanian is one of them. Okay. The chap who does just do exactly that, gets on bikes and just rides and filters. But it's because he's so. It's just a beautiful art the way he does it. He's just like, wow, I'm never going to be that good. Actually, I shouldn't say it. Never say never. But
well, next thing you're doing it on one wheel.
Well, just filtering through. But it's just good. Again, I think when it comes to anything social media, it's what's working and what isn't working. So if I'm doing something, it gets no likes or it gets no feedback, or all the comments that was dreadful, wasted 10 minutes of my life watching that, then I'm going to probably think, A, I need to improve how I'm filming it and the actual quality of it, or B, just don't show that again and just do other bits. So I think it's just going to become a dynamic type of approach and just have.
Do you ever map it out and then nothing goes to plan?
No, I've been quite fortunate. No, I mean,
because I do videos for other YouTubers and I've got a plan, this, that, and the other. Then if I tried to duplicate that plan for myself, absolute gone to pot. Nothing I'll have planned will have happened.
I hope not. I mean, I haven't even started.
I need to take a leaf out of your book. Then I need to watch how you film and how you do things when you do start your YouTube.
Yeah, because I mean, the other day, just the intro video was me just sitting in the corner of the kitchen table, getting the right light, putting a plant behind me, setting the camera up on a tripod, and just talking. And I just literally spoke for like 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm now trying to get into the side of actually editing it and piecing it all together. I think you're always just going to waffle on and then bring it back. But it's knowing from the start what you want that video to be. And I know I want that video just to be an introduction to me. Kind of like this. I'm sure there are people watching this thinking, who is this guy? I've never come across him before.
Yeah, well, I've learned a lot about you in this.
Yeah, and I want people to leave whatever it is I'm doing knowing something a bit more about me, or having a better perspective of me in whatever medium it may be. And that's kind of just, I suppose, how I'm going to attack all of it. Just having that at the back of my mind. Is this enjoyable? Is this making someone giggle? Is this making someone actually want to come back and view a bit more and click that subscribe button? Or are they thinking, no, I really didn't enjoy that. This isn't my cup of tea. Yeah. But then I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea. I want to... Yeah,
you've got to have your... I mean, not everyone will always agree with you. Not everyone will always enjoy watching you.
Precisely.
But it's also, I suppose, providing the best value as you can, and especially in a world where you want to be your own business, or if it's something you want part-time, you do have to plug yourself. You do have to get used to plugging yourself, pushing yourself out there, and having that drive to look past you as the subject and just look at the content. I've had to do that because a few times when I've looked at the filming, I've been like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? But then I've just been like, let's just release it. It is what it is.
Yeah, just get it out there. Just post it. Yeah. What happens.
And see the journey evolve as it goes along. I had a massive question in my head and I've gone completely. No, I don't know what I was going to say now. I get so lost. I think I've got lost speaking to you. I said this before starting.
I am going all over the place.
No, but I've really enjoyed. It's been a very relatable conversation, and I think I've really enjoyed how we've just been able to chat instead of have the I suppose I'm everywhere with my conversations. Everyone knows that. I'll be talking about one thing and go down a different avenue. I think what I wanted to say was, what is the craziest experience you've had in your biking journey to date?
Ooh, blimey.
It can be embarrassing, it can be funny, it can be scary.
In my biking journey? Yes. So as the British Motorbiker, or just on the bike?
In whichever way you take it.
Damn. I've had a few scary moments on the bike, like anyone does, but I think the coolest moment for me was riding over Westminster Bridge and someone shouting out, British Motorbiker.
Oh, you got your recognition.
I didn't properly hear it, so I thought, what was that? And then next thing I know, I had a private message on Instagram saying, did you just drive over this bridge? And I was like, no way, did someone just recognise me?
Isn't that odd?
So that was probably the coolest moment, I won't lie. That's brought, puts a massive smile on my face, that the bike has become that
recognisable figure.
Yeah.
How are you going to change it now? How are you going to change the colour?
Oh, there we go, Julie. Sorry. Staying.
That is a weird moment, isn't it? Because I've had that at 8th, where I've come back and I've got a message request, and it's people showing me I'm there, and I'm like, do just come over and
Just
say
say
hi.
hello.
Let's speak. It's an odd one, isn't it?
It is.
Even with some of the, I've got a client and it's been crazy. We've been shooting somewhere and suddenly these people rock up because they want to take pictures of him, and you're like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, how are you going to deal with that as
Well, I would like that. Come over, say hi. Let's actually, put a face to a name and not have a phone screen between you. Actually have a chat, and you'll see who I really am. But you'll see that I'm no different to who I am on camera. That's the whole thing I'm going for. But you get other times. I mean, I've been doing shoots before, and some kids have been like laughing and pointing and trying to act all cool, and how are you taking pictures and stuff like that? Who do you think you are? I don't really give a damn.
I've had kids come up to me and be like, "How many followers do you have?" And we thought we had big numbers, and they're like, 2 million. Do you have 2 million? I'm like, no, like, absolutely not.
I've got 7,000.
I'm small fish in the sea right now.
Yeah.
And they're like on TikTok with like 18 million, and they're like, and I'm there.
What am I doing wrong? Yeah, because I don't know if I get into the TikTok scene.
TikTok's meant to be the next biggest grossing growth platform, and apparently Instagram is going that way now. So they've released a statement saying that they're going to become more of a video platform than a photo platform. And I sent that to Shaz. I was just like, I'm gonna have to put my personality out there if I want to keep this going, which I've got no problem with, but I'm also just very picky.
Yeah.
So so that is a very cool moment. Wow, that would be insane to see as well. Especially if you're riding around, it's just what? You're not even stood somewhere. It's just you've been recognised.
But I suppose there's that bad side to fame as well. You get to that point where you are recognisable if you've got however many followers, and someone pulls out in front of you having a bad day, and you start going ballistic. Because and then you're like, oh damn, what if people actually know who I am and can track that? And then there's a bad side to it, and you don't want that to happen, which is why you've always just got to be on the bike with a clear head.
I think it's also it sounds very vain, but my partner's like, oh, let's go out for a walk, and I'll be like, my top will be covered in cat hair, and I'll be in like complete weird joggers with holes in them, and I'm like, I can't go out like this, and he's like, it's only for a walk, no one's gonna care. I'm like, trust me, as soon as I go out, everybody I know is gonna be
Someone
there,
will see you.
and it'll be on Instagram, and then I'll cry because I'll have 3 double chins and I'll be eating an ice cream, and it'll just feel like a completely like, what the hell just happened moment.
Always the way.
Yeah, because that's the privacy side of things. You don't know where it ends and where it begins.
But if you're putting that out anyway, then it shouldn't get to you. If you're putting yourself out in just
but it's what people will say. They'll be like, oh, look at her, blah blah blah, and you're just like, just let me live.
Yeah, I just want to go and get some
I just want to have holes in my t-shirt. Let me be.
Yeah, it's when you got like the guacamole or something.
That's how I actually met my business partner. We went out. We had other friends, and we went out to dinner. And we sat in this it's one of those corner shop little takeaway places. And he hands me a tissue. I'm thinking, why is he handing? He's not said a word to me. He hands me a tissue. It's because I've got mayonnaise all in my hair. And I was like, and I was there.
Hair?
I was there. No,
Oh, okay.
I was there as the model. So I was like, I'm really sorry. I'm just a mess. But yeah, okay. Let's head back to the conversation. Okay, so what was, in the career side of it, what was the most rewarding moment you've ever had?
Having a paid partnership.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that come into fruition?
Again, kind of asking.
Yeah.
Just is this something you do? Still very small fry, but do you have budget?
Yeah.
And when the moment I wrote those words and Click said, absolutely. I back when I was doing sales and stuff, I'd done some huge deals in my life, but this felt more nerve-wracking to say, do you have budget? And it could be, 50 quid, £100, whatever it may be, starting off.
Yeah.
And you think that it's small fry, but it felt terrifying to actually be like, this is now a new persona. This is me. This is how I'm going to move forward with everything. And when they said yes, I was like,
oh my God.
Wow. Like,
this is happening.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people sell themselves short. They don't value themselves enough.
Yeah.
And if you're creating, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. If there's a budget, you're working with brands to create, not just doing it for the sake of it.
Precisely, yeah.
I've had an amazing time speaking with you. I've learnt so much. This has been a really chilled session as well, which I've smiled the whole way through because I can feel my jaw hurting. I'm gonna have to meet Julie, and we're all gonna have to go out, and I'm gonna have to learn to take photos like Julie. But it's been fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in. If you want to learn more about the British Motorbiker, please head to his Instagram and his YouTube when it comes live. I think you're willing to talk to people and answer questions on there anyway.
As long, I hope I can help. Put it that way. I'm probably going to be waffling. Fingers crossed, something will come across.
We're just people at the end of the day. So reach out if you've got any advice. If you're wanting to start up, and any of us, we're all welcome to talk. And like, share, subscribe. Got to put the plug in there. Really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.